Hi everyone, it's Angel and Bonnet here. Right, so I have got this amazing book for you. This one has been written for us by Amanda Kidd and Noor Alshalabi. So they have both worked together to create an amazing book. And you'll never guess what this book is about. Well, let me tell you. It is about cupcakes, my favourite thing. I bet you like cupcakes too, don't you? Maybe the ones with all the sprinkles on top. They're amazing, aren't they? So this one is called Ellie and the Cupcakes. What an amazing book. Let me show you Ellie here. There you go, you can see Ellie. And that cupcake. Do you think she's going to eat them all up? I bet she will. Wow. Wonder where she's going. Shall we find out? Yeah? Have you got your teddy? You have? And, well, that must mean that you're ready. Let's begin. Ellie and the Cupcakes. And this book, there's a little message in this book. And it says, for David, Zach, and Hannah, who all love cupcakes, you mean the world to me. Stay safe. Ah, that's a lovely message, isn't it? Let's begin. Ellie and the Cupcakes. There were two things Ellie wanted more than anything in the world. She wanted to eat cupcakes all day long. And she wanted to be big. Not big like a grown-up. No, Ellie wanted to be a giant. Wow. She hoped and dreamed that one day she would become a giant. She would have had a pet elephant and walk him on a leash. People would look at her in wonder and say, look, Ellie the giant is coming. Oh no. Then, one day, it happened. Ellie threw a coin into a wishing well, and in a burst of fizzy sparkles, her wish came true. She looked around in amazement, reached up, and touched the sky. Birds landed on her head and tried to build a nest in her hair. Oh. This was fun. When a fluffy cloud floated past her face, Ellie stuck her tongue out and gave it a lick. It was nice, but not as nice as cupcakes. She sprinted home to show her mum, but the ground shook with every step and the nearby houses rattled. Ellie, cried the villagers, we liked you better when you weren't a giant. Oh dear. Mum was startled when she saw a massive eye peeking through the kitchen window. You need to go back to the wishing well and make yourself little again, said Mum. And hurry up, it's almost time for tea. But Ellie was big now, so there was no need to listen to Mum. Oh. She ran to the playground and tried climbing up the ladder and the slide. But Her feet were too big for the rungs. When she saw she couldn't go in the slide, she tried the swings. But the swings weren't meant to be used by giants. As soon as she sat down, crash! Uh-oh. Oh no, she is too big. Ellie, cried the children. We liked you better when you weren't a giant. Ellie ran off again and passed by a field where her friends were kicking a ball. She went to join them, but when she kicked the ball, it flew so far that no one could see it anymore. Oh, Ellie, they cried. We liked you better when you weren't a giant. Poor Ellie. This was not how she imagined things would be once she got her wish. She also didn't get her pet elephant. She went back home and sat on the grass outside. Her mother came out holding a tray of cupcakes. I baked these just for you, she said. They're tiny, Ellie protested. They're the same as usual, sweetheart, her mum replied. But because you are so big, everything seems a lot smaller. Oh no, what should she do? Ellie sighed. She told her mum how no one liked her now that she was a giant. Her friends didn't want to play with her, and she kept breaking things. I will love you no matter how big or small you are, Mum smiled. But what about you? Do you like yourself like this? Oh no, she looks so sad there, doesn't she? Do you think Ellie likes to be big or small? Shall we find out? Ellie thought about it. It's what I always wanted. And at first it was great. But I can't play anymore, and cupcakes are way too small. Mum nodded and said, in that case, you know what you need to do. Ellie went back to the wishing well and threw a coin in. Magic sparkles reappeared all around her, and she started shrinking until she returned to normal size. That's better, she said to herself, then went home to eat. She sat at the kitchen table. She couldn't help but think. Yummy. If being a giant meant small cupcakes, surely being the size of an ant meant ginormous cupcakes. She smiled with mischief and fished a coin out of her pocket. Oh, what's she gonna do? The end. I wonder what she'll do now that she's this big. Do you think she'll turn that big? Do you think she'll be small and stay small so she can eat lots and lots of cupcakes? Because if she's really tiny, it means cupcakes are like this big. Imagine that. Gigantic cupcakes. Amazing. Well, that was the end of that story. Okay, so in this book at the back there is a recipe for cupcakes. So at the bottom of this video I'm going to put a link to the book so that when you get the book you can get a recipe for special Ellie cupcakes. That's amazing, isn't it? It is. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that story, because I did and Bonnet did. And guys, that is the end of our story. So, I will see you again next time. Bye everybody.